Good morning. It's Fiction Friday. It's Fiction Friday. Ooh, that is not how you spell fiction. And we're talking about the three big mistakes. Good morning. I'm getting to it. I am. This is my least favorite part. It's like typing in. I wish there was an easier way to do that. Boom. Pin. Pinned it. Bang. I pinned it. So that's what we're getting into today. Good morning. Good morning. Stay still. Good morning. Good morning. All right, let's jump over here and let's get this thing popping. Good morning. Good morning, party people. What's going on, folks? Hey, let's Facebook get their life together so we can get into this conversation. All right, so we could talk about some good stuff this morning on this wonderful Fiction Friday. It's Fiction Friday. I know y'all missed it because I missed it too. Right? That's what I missed. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, everybody. Good morning, folks. What's going on? It's your girl, Sheree Robin. We live and live in color on this wonderful Fiction Friday. And I'm putting some stuff down on paper so I make sure that I talk to you guys about some good stuff today. And yeah, and I got some good stuff that I want to share with you. So good morning, good morning. Happy Fiction Friday. It's your girl, Sheree Robin, Simon & Schuster best-selling author, editor, publisher, literary coach, all-around word nerd, and I love what I do. So good morning to you on this wonderful Fiction Friday. And we're going to have some dialogue today as per usual. Good morning, beautiful. Hey, Trisha. Hey, how's it going? So as you jump on, make sure that you say good morning. Make sure that you say good morning. Don't be rude. Say good morning. Take a moment to tag a friend, share this post, this video, this live, all of this stuff this morning. Good morning, because this is for my fiction authors this morning. This is I'm saying it's our Fiction Friday. It's Fiction Friday. So we're gonna talk about some good stuff when it comes to fiction, and I want to talk about hey, good morning. I want to talk about the three big mistakes. Now there's not just three, but there's more. But there are three that I really want to focus on this morning, and I want to give you guys some insight and my perspective on these three common mistakes when it comes to writing fiction, because I see it all the time. Gang, I see it all the time. And so those of you who don't know who I am or what I do, of course, I'm Sheree, but a writer, author, editor, publisher, all of those things. An editor is like my number one hat. Editor, CEO, boss bay of the literary bays. That's my BAE, my badass editors. And so I'm in a position where I read and write a lot, right? I read a lot. I read a lot of material. I work extensively with clients, coaching, reading their content, helping them write books. To date, I've ghostwritten 11 books, and we've helped over 50 authors publish their titles in the last 24 months. So it is just an amazing place to be, and I love it, right? So in this space, I get lots of incredible first-time authors. So there are people who have an idea, they have a story, and this is their very first attempt at writing a novel, at writing fiction. So fiction, though, for you guys, just to make sure that we are on the same page this morning. So fiction is the fake stuff, right? The best way, the easiest way to remember the difference between fiction and nonfiction. Good morning. Nonfiction and fiction is to remember that nonfiction, we'll start with the fiction is fake. It's fake, it's phony, it's not for real, right? But the nonfiction is real, right? It's not fake. So think of it that way. So we're dealing with fiction this morning because it's Fiction Friday. You guys shimmy when you say it because it's Fiction Friday. And so the common mistake that I keep seeing as we're dealing with these new novelists, right? Because a fiction manuscript is a novel, right? Nonfiction isn't a novel. Fiction is a novel. So your fiction novelist, first-time authors and writers in this space, I've gotten quite a few on my desk. Good morning, on my desk over the last few days. So in going through these fiction projects, I'm looking at what the writers are doing, understanding their story, what it is that they're trying to get accomplished, and I keep seeing these things. And y'all, this revelation came to me yesterday. Came to me yesterday as I was resting in bed, and I said, "Oh my God, next year I will have been editing for 20 years." Oh my God. 20 years. Can you believe that? I will have been an editor for 20 years next year. It's crazy. So I say that to say that in all of my years of editing and working with fiction writers, I keep seeing these same hiccups. I keep seeing these writers do these same things. And a lot of them have to do, let's go this way. Yeah, I'm a master at this, right? But the biggest mistakes are not knowing their narrator, right? Not having a good handle on their narrative voice, and that has a lot to do with point of view, which I'm going to get into with you guys in a moment. Often I see a lot of unrealistic dialogue, just very choppy, or you'll see, I'll explain that next too, right? So we've got weak narrative voice control. You don't know your point of view very well, or you have unrealistic dialogue, or there's absolutely no visuals. There's no scene, right? Where the scene is completely unclear. We have no idea what's where. There's just a lot of vagueness and ambiguity going on. And so I want to talk about those things this morning. If you guys are game. I know, right? Thank you, D. 20 years. Isn't that crazy? So if you guys are game, let's get a thumbs up and let's see here if you want this, you want a dialogue, and let's talk about these things, because I want you, as an editor, right? As this is my passion, someone who loves to read, I want you to write good books, right? I really want you to write good books. And I know that this, for what I do and what I know, comes from 20 years of being an editor, or almost 20, 19 and a half. It comes from such a long time of being an editor, and it also comes from my education, right? From studying this, from having multiple degrees in English, composition studies, right? I'm a super nerd. This is what I do. But I know that most writers just are chugging away at the craft, right? Most writers don't get an opportunity to go to school for it, or they don't. It's a calling for them. It's a hobby in a way. They have this desire, but they haven't had the opportunity or the space to grow and to sharpen those skills. So my goal in what I do on these lives, and what my team and I do in working with writers, is to give them the skills, is to equip you with the skills so that you become a better writer. That's the goal. So that's the purpose of this conversation this morning, is to give you some perspective on what's happening and give you some skills, right? Sharpen up your sword, right? So that you can go into these literary streets swanging. Okay, so let's talk about this weak point of view, this lacking narrative voice, right? So your narrator, right? Your narrator is the person telling the story. It is the person that's moving us through what's happening on the page. So your narrative in writing, you have a few choices. You have first person point of view, right? Which is Sheree, got up this morning. I wouldn't say Sheree, but I'd say I got up this morning and I was so frustrated and tired. I got up this morning, I stretched, and I got up and I had to run to the supermarket and get milk because we were out of milk and my daughter wanted cereal. That's I, right? I did this. I saw him and he walked towards me. That's I, first person. There's limits to it, right? In first person, you only know yourself. Right? As first person I'm the first person telling the story. I only know what I, as the person, the character, knows. So as you, the writer, are writing, you are only aware of what your character knows. You can't tell us anything else. You can't tell us what the person across the room is eating or thinking unless your person unless your your character sees it. Right? I saw her eating green eggs and ham. You can't say the woman across from me sat over there eating pancakes unless you see her eating these pancakes, right? So there are limitations to first person perspective. Same thing with and there are pros to it, right? Pros to it means that I can pull you right in. You're immediately sucked in. Hey, I had my first child when I was 14. You're like, what? Oh my gosh. So you're drawn right into what's happening. First person. Now, second person is usually nonfiction. It's where you can do this. You're inspired. You're great. You're amazing. Right? That second person is when you're speaking directly to your reader. Now, third person is another perspective. And in third person, you have to know who's in control. Is your narrator God and they know everything? So you're third person omniscient, or are you third person limited and you are only moving with the character and you're telling us that she jumped up early this morning, right? So in my novel, right, Candace Rain. So in my novel, we're in third person. Candace got up in the morning. She shifted her body. She moved and pulled the sheets from over her eyes and dragged her way into the bathroom. So no, she dragged her way into the bathroom. So, but I'm telling you the story as the narrator over top of Candace watching things happen. What I see so many times when it comes to new writers is that there's this mesh of it. There's this merger between, like, we don't know exactly who's in control of the story. So I was reading something the other day, and we're with this character, you know, she did this, she did that, we're in her head, great, no problem. And then all of a sudden we go boom to this random guy who comes out of nowhere, and it's like, wait, what? Hold on a second. But because she didn't establish that the narrator was God to begin with, I'm completely confused, right? I'm so lost now, because see, I could teach you guys a lot of this stuff, but it's so like, I got to see you writing to help you make these changes. But what happens is, if you don't move in, like, right away, know that you're working in third person omniscient, then your reader is confused because she didn't go into that until 5 pages in. So now I'm like, wait, what? So we know his brain too. So I know everything about what's going on with this person as well. Now I'm confused. Now I don't know who to trust. Now I'm not sure what's happening. So I want to advise you in this space, when it comes to writing, to writing, especially fiction, you have to know your narrator. You have to know your point of view. Who is telling us the story, and how much do they know? The person that's guiding us through this story, that's showing us what your character is doing. Do they know everything about everybody in this? Yes, Fiction Friday. Do they know everything about everyone in this entire book? Do they know it all, right? The person telling the story, how much do they know? That's on you to understand and have full control over when you're writing fiction. If you don't have it, we are lost in the sauce. Okay, we lost. We like, wait, what? Who? Why? How? Oh, okay. Okay? That's number one. Number two is this dialogue, this crazy use of dialogue. I see this dialogue. It's so wild sometimes, guys. It's like, there is it's choppy, right? Because you're trying to move through a scene really quickly. I'm not sure why, but what I'll see a lot of times is dialogue that doesn't do anything, right? So there's a lot of like back and forth, and I said yes and he said no, and then we looked at each other, and then I got up and I said, how you doing? And you're like, wait a second, we just spent 3 pages talking about the fact that she wants some Ugg boots for Christmas. Like, is that what this is for? So there's this poor use of dialogue. So I want you to take with you this morning, good morning, good morning. I want you to take with you this morning the value in using dialogue to move your story along. Your characters should not just be saying random things, right? It shouldn't just be just cut, like, just Lord help me. It shouldn't just be foolishness, right? It should be something that is beneficial to the story. Your character should be discussing things that are progressing us, that give us as a reader some insight, that tell us more about the character. If there's something that your character does consistently, let's see that in their dialogue. Like, show us the character through how they speak, right? How they talk to other people, how they respond when other people talk. Show us like your actual, how your characters move and behave through their dialogue and through their conversations. We miss it. I miss it so much, right? I like it's probably one. This is why we're talking about it this morning. It's one of the weakest things I see in fiction writers is this dialogue, because you don't understand that your dialogue can do so much for you. It can do so much for you. It is not just a space filler. It is not just to add more pages to your text. Your dialogue is intended and purposed to get your reader through the story. Use it. Use your dialogue. Give us foreshadowing. Tell us stuff that we didn't know in your dialogue. And make sure that you're using contractions. The I am, or we are not going. No, we ain't going. Right? We aren't going. Use contractions. Make it sound like real people are having conversations. And you also want to make sure that you are comfortable and you're knowledgeable enough about your characters that they sound different, that they speak differently. Your characters should not, even if they're from the same neighborhood, even if they grew up in the same hood, they got the same friends, whatever, they should not all sound the same. They have differences to them. They have different nuances that make them separate. I remember going to a school and doing I forget what you call it, but I went to Got it. I went to a high school for like a career day. I went to a high school for a career day, and I had this table of boys that came and sat down with me, and they're all like young athletes, all young brothers, and I'm like, okay, Shrey, how am I going to connect with them? How am I going to talk to them about writing, right? About being a writer, because they looking at me like, what you want, lady? So I'm explaining to them in this conversation that as a writer, the reason why, good morning, why it's important for me to be a writer is because it's important for me to be able to capture the voices of young men like them, right? And because all four of them are sitting here, right? All of these boys who may be in the same class, same neighborhood, they go to the same school, they may like the same girl. I'm looking at these boys, but they're all different. They're all extremely different, right? What he wants to do is not what he wants to do. What his dreams and aspirations are not the same. What his fears are not the same. How he responds is not the same. I asked a question. One of them may have been like, yeah, you know what? He shifted back in his seat and he pondered. He thought about it. Or I asked a question to this other kid and he jumped forward like, you know what, Miss Sheree? Yeah. And so he got excited, right? So it's important for you to know your characters well enough to know how they're going to respond, how they engage with other people in the book, right? That's for you to be in full control of. A lot of times you're going to get characters who are similar and you don't want them to mesh on the page where we're confused as the reader going, well, who said this? And if they're back and forth in a conversation, we don't know what's happening. So you want to grab that, use your dialogue to move your story forward, and make sure that your dialogue is reflective of your individual characters, that it is showcasing who they are as people, and we get to learn from them. Okay. All right. Next one is setting. So you want to think about your setting, right? A lot of things that I see when it comes to setting, there is vagueness, right? It's vagueness and ambiguity, right? We don't see a setting. We don't understand. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Profanity. Hold on, I'm gonna get to that. Is setting, right? One of the big things that we see a lot of times has to do with actual setting in a scene, and it's because there is none. It's because there is none whatsoever. We don't know what's happening, right? So you say this character is talking to this character, or she said, he said, great. But where'd they say it? Where are they when they're saying it? What does the room look like? Are there multiple people in the room? If her voice raises, do other people look and respond? Or does she see other people looking at her when her voice rises and goes up 5 octaves, right? Like that's something grossly to consider. Oh, y'all know what? I'll be right back. I forgot I had to get my, I got stuff on the stove, y'all. Y'all better bear with me before I burn my house down. Hold on. My daughter like, Mom, what are you doing? Burning the house down, y'all. Y'all better pray for me so I don't burn the house down. I'm like, what is that smell? Oh, sure, you sure we're cooking. Yes, that's what happens when you multitask and be a mom and do 10,000 things at once. So y'all thank God that we're not about to go up and smoke. That we're not about to go up and smoke this morning. So thank God for that. But back to setting, right? Back to setting. People misuse, people don't use setting. They don't describe the scene. They miss out on placing us in the moment of what's actually happening. Don't laugh at me, y'all. They miss out on placing us in the moment of something that's actually happening, right? That's really taking place. So set the scene for us. If we're walking into a room, if we're coming into this new space, describe that space for us. And your character is going to see it. Your character is walking into this room, restaurant, bedroom, or, store, whatever. They're moving into this space. What does it look like? Is it well lit? Are there windows along the wall? Is it crowded? Are there people there? Does she have to move quickly? Does she have to pull her pocketbook close to avoid hitting the old ladies? Like, what is happening in this physical space so that we can have a picture of what's actually going on? And that's where I see a big mistake, right? When it comes to new writers in their journey to authorhood, and to becoming published authors, is that they struggle with showing the scene. They really, really struggle with showing the scene. So take your time. Think about these things. I want you to think about, the concept is called scanning and fixating. Say it with me. Scanning and fixating. Scanning and fixating. Y'all got that? Scanning and fixating. Okay. Scanning and fixating. It means that you think about how you come into a room. You are going to scan that room. When you come to a room, right or wrong. I don't know about you. I grew up in the hood. If I'm coming in a room, I'm like this. I'm checking. I'm from left to right. Who all up in here? Where are the exits? That's me. That's me. I did not come to play with y'all. Who all up in here and where are the exits? That's what I'm doing, okay? So, but that's how I function in that space. I want you to think about your characters in a very similar space when you're moving them into rooms. Think about this. Think if they're coming into a room that's brand new for them, right? It's a brand new room. They've never been in here before. So, of course, they're going to survey the space. They're going to take it in, and that's where you're going to describe what's going on. And if there's something that your character locks eyes on, maybe it's that tall, handsome gentleman across the room, or maybe it's that girl that she thinks she know from high school, like, I don't know, maybe whatever that is, and you scan and move right across the room. This is her first time in that room. Now, if you are going into a room that she's familiar with, you can use that as well. So she comes in and drops her bags, on the table to the left of, because this is where she knows it is. So just out of habit, her arm extends, boom, drops the bag on the table, or keys on the table to the left when she walks through her front door. So we know the key, like we know that she knows that it's there because you described that for us in action, boom, because this is what she do when she comes through the front door. So we know that this is there. I'm missing so many of those golden, juicy, succulent, wonderful visuals. I need them. I got to have them in my life, y'all. When I see these manuscripts that'll just be butt naked like this, just bare, just got nothing. I'm like, what? And then the writer is like, Sure, you want me to do what? And I'd be like, give me more. I want you to give me more. I need more of this. What is this? I can't get jiggy with this. I need more. I need more of you. I need more of that. I need more control in the narrative voice. I need you to know who you are as a narrator. Are you God? Do you know everything? Or are you the character, right? Do you know a bunch of different stuff about yourself? Maybe some stuff about some people you shouldn't know. I don't know. What is that? You control that. I need you to have more control over your narrative voice. And then I need you to have more realistic dialogue, to not use your dialogue listlessly, to be just throwing casual, candid conversations out there as if they matter. If they're not moving your story along, if we're not learning about your characters through your dialogue, I don't want it. I don't want to see it. I could do without it. I promise you. I promise you. If it's not a juicy nugget and giving me something good, something interesting, if it's not funny and I'm like, this character's hilarious, boom, 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 then baby, I promise you, I don't need it. Okay. And number three is your setting. What I do need, what I'm going to have from you is some visuals. Some visuals, some scene setting going on. Show me who is in the scene. Show me what's in the room. Show me how, and you can combine those things together, believe it or not. That dialogue in the scene setting, this is when y'all get into my fancy classes. When you get real good with it and you start into that mastery we were talking about at 20 years as an editor, you can mesh those things, right? I like to make my words work for me. So if I'm gonna put a word on the page, I want to know how much can I make this word have value. So I marry those things, your setting and your dialogue, so that I can describe something. She said to him as she pushed past him and looked into the spacious living room. Right, I want to use everything I got to move you through this story as quickly how possible. Show me how it smell. I like that, and so because here's the thing, you smell is one of those things that you cannot avoid. You cannot avoid smell. So if you walk into a room, you may have missed the person standing in the corner, but you're not going to miss the fact that what I didn't miss a minute ago was that something was smelling like it was about to burn in my house. Right? That's what I didn't miss, because smell doesn't miss anything. When you walk into that space of anywhere, right, your character, that smell is going to hit them. It could be funky, musky. What if it's a familiar smell? Right? What if she in love and she smell her man perfume and then she's sniffing, but it's not him. And then she disappointed. Right? I don't know. You could what you can do with this, how creative you can be, and when writing. Oh my God. When writing is incredible. It's unbelievable. And that's when the fun comes in. That's when the flex of those skills, the mastery comes in. For now, I just want you to get comfortable with writing dialogue that's valuable, making sure that it's useful in the movement of your story. And I want you to get comfortable with setting a scene. Can we see it? Can we see what's actually happening in the scene? Okay? Make sense, guys? I hope so. I hope that resonates with you guys this morning. There was a couple comments. Y'all was in here tripping. I hate when writers misuse profanity. Should I be we all went to hood. Tail to hillbilly dialect. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, okay. I see what's going on. Good morning, good morning. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Trish. I appreciate it. Oh, how I've missed these. Good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, good morning. Does that make sense? Does that resonate with you guys? Y'all see all this hair? Y'all know I'm about to cut this back off, right? Just so y'all know this morning. That was a casual part of my conversation. Anywho, listen, I'm telling you guys, it is necessary. The work is necessary. You have to practice the craft. You have to work at it consistently. You have to get feedback and support. Hey, Wendy. So we got two of our authors. Hey, Trish. Wendy's on the call too. Good morning. Good morning. And Wendy, we're working on your manuscript, working on your fiction project. Yours is not one of the ones that I was referencing this morning. So don't worry about that. Even though we have done work in your dialogue. We actually have done work in your dialogue. We absolutely have. In that space of helping your characters say things that are valuable. And one of the things that I love about Wendy, as just harping on her this morning, because I know, is the light bulb that goes off. When we're talking about it, right? When we're doing the work and we're writing in that space, she will be like, you know what I could do? Oh, you know what I could do? I could put this, if I do this and I cut this scene and I make them have this conversation like this way, right? I could have them have this conversation in the diner, and you know what that's going to do? That's going to establish such and such. And now I don't have to do that late. And I'd be like, yup. You got it, girl. You got it, girl. Like, you got, this is it. You are absolutely right. That's exactly it. So that for me is the highlight of working with writers, is that moment when and it's like, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can do all of these things. It's like, yeah, girl, you better flex some literary skills. Get to pushing or clicking, however you want to do it. So I encourage you all the same. If you need help, if you need support, myself, my team, my literary babes, that's my BAE, my badass editors. That's what we do. We are in these literary streets, helping people write books, helping people become published authors, just making a huge difference. I cannot wait. We're going to do some redesign, and I get to put my books up on the shelf. I'm going to show you guys how. Some just keep bang, just here we go. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about some amazing things. It has been the best process. Oh, thank you, Wendy. I love it because you're growing. You are maturing in this space. I can see it, and I'm proud of you. So let's just keep up the amazing work. And so for all of you guys too who are hanging out this morning, I want to encourage you to get the support that you need. If you are looking for an editor, you're looking for somebody to be in the trenches with you to help you with the fiction writing, then just make sure that you send us an email, or make sure that you visit us on Good Ground Lit or literarybabe.com, schedule a consult, and myself and my team can support you in this space. If you already rocking and rolling, take the tips that I have given you this morning and put them into practice. Know the control that you have as a narrator, right? Make sure that you are using your dialogue effectively. There's not wasted dialogue here, effective dialogue. And then make sure that you are setting the scene, that our scenes are clear, that we understand what's going on, we have good visuals, and we good. All right. All right, gang. Well, I love y'all having an amazing morning. Keep up the great work. Enjoy the rest of this wonderful Fiction Friday. It's Fiction Friday. You gotta shimmy when you say it. I love y'all. Have a wonderful day, folks. Peace out. Peace out.